All right, so the results are rolling in for the South Carolina primary, and it is fair to say that Bernie Sanders indeed did not put the nail in the coffin of all of the other candidates. So let me break this down for you. I'll give you the numbers, and I'll tell you what this means moving forward. So Joe Biden had a pretty dominant victory. There's really no other way to spin it. As of right now, 50% of the vote is in. He has 49.9% of the vote. Bernie Sanders is in second place, a clear second place with 19.4%. Nobody else is viable, which means nobody else gets over that 15% threshold. But next in third place is Tom Sawyer with 11.5%. Then you have Pete Buttigieg with 7.7%, Elizabeth Warren with 6.7%, Amy Klobuchar with 3.1%. Then you have Tulsi at 1.2%, and then everybody else is at 0.6%. So, thoughts on this night? Well, it wasn't good. It really wasn't good. The day after Nevada, the polls actually showed, there were a bunch of polls that showed that Bernie was tied with Joe Biden in South Carolina. And we were riding high after that giant win, and the thought became, if he manages to win South Carolina, this thing is beyond over. And when I say over, I don't mean a Bernie Sanders plurality and a contested convention. I mean a Bernie Sanders majority, and there's nothing the Democratic establishment can do to stop us. However, life is a hell of a lot more complicated than that, and adversity strikes even the best of the best, and that's exactly what happened today. So Joe Biden had a very dominant victory. Now, I don't have the exit polls up in front of me as I speak right now, but I will tell you, I'll go off of memory, because I saw a bunch of them earlier. Why did Joe Biden win by so much? Well, the answer is very simple. The voters were old. I mean, that's it. So you had 70% of the voters were over age 45. Now, Bernie Sanders won among the young voters. He won among the young voters of color, young black voters. But he certainly did not win among the older black voters, and that's who makes up the electorate in South Carolina. So basically, like, the one demographic group that is not wildly pro-Bernie Sanders, older black voters, they came out in incredibly high numbers and gave Joe Biden the victory. Now, another interesting fact, and this one will annoy you, no doubt, because it annoyed me, but Medicare for All won yet again. Now, you might be thinking, well, hold on, Joe Biden won, so how does that make sense? Well, the exit polls were crystal clear. The number of Democratic primary voters in South Carolina that support Medicare for All, 50%, only 44% oppose it. So that means in the first 4 contests, Medicare for All is above water. So even, like, and this is a point I've made time and time again, which is why you see sometimes Republicans will win statewide elections in various states, but then left-wing ballot proposals will also win. And it's like, the candidates are almost secondary to the fact that people prefer a left-wing agenda, regardless of what you call it, you know? So people don't know labels that well, so it makes sense to actually avoid labels, but on the actual issues themselves, people are very social democratic and left-leaning. So even though Joe Biden, you know, crushed in this primary, there's still many indications that a left-wing movement is surging. So I think that's a pretty important fact. Now, here's the thing. So you look at these numbers, you go, oh boy, what's happening here? How does this change the race moving forward? Well, that's where the news switches from very good for Joe Biden to very bad for Joe Biden, because there was a big New York Times story that came out the other day. Joe Biden has absolutely no ground game, no organization in any of the Super Tuesday states. So basically, he was totally banking on a giant bump from South Carolina to put him over the top in the Super Tuesday states. And now, how many states vote? I believe it's 14. Some of those states are in the South. So what's the likelihood, like how well can he do even in a best case scenario? Well, I would say to you that even under a best case scenario, he picks up some of the southern states. So maybe 6 states total out of 14. And those states have, relatively speaking, fewer delegates than many of the other states. So that's an absolute best case scenario. Best case scenario, he would pick up 6 states on Super Tuesday. But honestly, guys, I think even that's a little stretch. I don't think he's got 6 states in him, particularly because not only has he not campaigned in these states, not only does he not have any grassroots organization in these states, he also doesn't have ads running in these states. He has a 6-figure ad buy for the Super Tuesday states. Meanwhile, we all know how much money Bloomberg is spending there. So, in other words, you didn't have Bloomberg competing in South Carolina, but now you do have him competing in all the Super Tuesday states. Well, who the hell is Bloomberg pulling from? What voter pool is he pulling from? He's pulling from the Joe Biden voter pool. And by the way, you're also going to have the vote split up between, Amy Klobuchar, Elizabeth Warren, Mayor Pete, Joe Biden. Which leads me to, and I'll leave you on a point of hope. This is a point of hope to finish it with. News broke tonight that the Joe Biden campaign got in touch with the Klobuchar campaign and got in touch with the Elizabeth Warren campaign. And he basically told them, listen, I'm going to need you to go ahead and stay in the race. Now, you might be thinking, well, hold on, what? Why would he do such a thing? That seems ridiculous. Here's why. The polls show that in Minnesota, Amy Klobuchar and Bernie Sanders are tied. The polls show that in Massachusetts, Bernie Sanders has a slight lead on Elizabeth Warren, anywhere from a 2-point lead to a 5-point lead. So what Joe Biden wants is for them to stay in, Elizabeth Warren to win Massachusetts, Amy Klobuchar to win Minnesota. Why? To try to put a dent in Bernie on Super Tuesday. Because Bernie is looking very, very strong on Super Tuesday. So the fact that you need that kind of campaign coordination, on the one hand you go, ugh, that's dirty politics and I hate it. But on the other hand, even though Joe Biden won big tonight, that's still them pressing the panic button and saying, whoa, 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 we got to do something here. So now the move is, don't get it twisted. The bottom line is, they're attempting to deny him a majority, and that's the only play they have left. So, that's the bright side of what happened tonight. But, listen, man, everybody, even the greats, experience adversity. It is so rare. Floyd Mayweather may be the only one who has a 0 by his name. What is he, 50-0, 51-0, something like that? It is so rare that people, get through life unscathed without adversity. And what I need everybody to understand is even the greats experienced it. Michael Jordan with that game where he had the flu. How do you play through the flu? That seems impossible. Michael Jordan did. Tiger Woods winning the U.S. Open on a broken leg. Who does that? How is that even possible? Never mind the whole scandal with his personal life and whatnot, and then he bounces back from that, then coming back from 4 back surgeries, which is insane. How do you win a golf tournament after a single back surgery? Never mind 4. So, bottom line is, even the greats have their moments when they feel like, whoa, we're down and out. Whoa, we got rocked. Muhammad Ali wasn't undefeated in his career. See, this is what I'm talking about. So, even though, this might hurt, this might sting, this is like a down-to-earth moment, a little bit of a wake-up call. What this really should do for you is inspire you to work even harder. And it's a reminder that nothing is given. Everything is earned. Everything is earned through hard work and dedication and sweat and tears and grinding it out and, doing all that hard work that's not glorious when nobody else is watching. That's what all these amazing people, are doing who are campaigning for Bernie, who are canvassing for Bernie, making phone calls, doing text messages, talking to their friends, trying to get the word out as much as possible. And instead of being demoralized, what the greats do is they take moments like this and they use it as fuel to improve and to get better. Okay? And everybody has experienced losses. You know, Barack Obama lost a lot of states to Hillary Clinton when he won in 2008. You know, Donald Trump, I told you this on the show the other day, lost 15 contests in 2016. And he still had a relatively dominant performance overall. He did. But he lost 15 contests. That's kind of, you know, that's a lot to lose. So this is just one. You can't win them all. Bernie said it himself. You can't win them all. So just, you know, everybody relax, breathe a little bit, lick your wounds, and then boom, we come out tomorrow harder than ever. And remember, it's just Super Tuesday is Tuesday. So it's coming up very, very soon. So get ready for it, man. Because they're going to try to do everything they possibly can to deny us, but they need to hear us roar. So the goal is, we now know, has to be, we have to win over 50%. And this should be a little bit of a wake-up call that the job's not done yet. So like I always tell you, act like we're 10 points down and just give it everything you got, because it's going to take every single thing that we have.